Hey, you caught me playing on my arcade cabinet. This is a Retropie arcade cabinet. I'm playing my favorite game, Galaga. I thought I would share with you today a little bit about this cabinet and how I built it. So let's get started. So the cabinet itself was an old Asteroids cabinet. The marquee still looks really good on it. And my neighbors had put it out by the trash, and it looked much worse. I will share photos, before and after photos. I don't have any video. But basically, I stripped off all the old siding, cleaned up the screen. This is the original plexiglass. Cleaned up the Asteroids marquee, stripped all the paint off, installed new button system in it, replaced the bulbs that were in the 25-cent coin slots with LEDs, and there's LEDs in here. And if we turn it around, I've already taken the cover off, we can see inside. Let's see if we get enough light. So we've got, obviously, the Raspberry Pi 3 running the whole thing, a PC power supply, 5 volts, 10 amps, going to block, so I can divvy the power out. I took a PC speaker, opened it up, it had an amplifier, cleaned it up, and basically used that for all the speakers. Picked this up at a garage sale for $5. And it basically just is a power block. It's actually designed to fit into a rack, but I have a keyboard, and you can kind of see the LEDs back there. We can also see the controls. But yeah, I'll share some photos. Spinning it back around again. All new siding, of course, buttons. And it's running Retropie. It's got some classic cool games in it. So, all right, that's pretty much it. You should try to make your own. It's a lot of fun. All right, let me go back to the computer and show you some photos. So, I had always wanted to make a Retropie arcade cabinet. I'd been thinking about it for a few years, and lo and behold, I walk out to take the trash out one day, and sitting on the side of the road across the street is this Asteroids cabinet and a sign that said "Free to a Good Home." So I immediately went over there and talked to my neighbor, and yes, it was the cabinet that you see basically here. It was in really bad shape. Internally, there had been a lot of heat damage, and everything was brittle and falling apart. There was rust on the front. The marquee looked pretty good. You can see there's cobwebs and scratches and everything on the cabinet. But I brought it over to my house and brought it into the garage and decided this was going to be my project. First thing I did, besides taking a few pictures of it, you can see the cabinet artwork on one side wasn't that bad. I'm not sure about the other. I don't remember. I went ahead and started to gut it. As soon as I opened up the back, pieces started falling out. It was in pretty bad shape. So don't get all angry with me that I destroyed a classic cabinet, because it's gotten a good second life. So once I had done that, I brought it down into my basement workshop and started sanding and cleaning off the stickers. And in this case, this was the front panel, and it had lots of rust on it. So I grinded it all down and refinished it. That must be a picture later. So that was me basically cleaning it up, and there's a picture of it, I think, in a little while. Then I used the heat gun and started getting the side panel artwork off. So I would heat it and scrape it off. Oh my gosh. You definitely have to wear a mask if you're going to do that kind of work. The fumes are pretty bad. You can kind of see the whole cabinet on its side. It had water damage on the base also that I had to clean up and fix. This is the coin slot, and it had bits of rust, so I cleaned it all up. I used a product called Osfo, which is really good. It's used in a lot of big ship industries, and it basically kills rust. So I grinded. This is the control panel again. I grinded it down, hit it with some Osfo, and then I primed it at some point. This is the coin slot again. I pulled out the bulbs. The bulbs were like 12 volt, almost like little car light bulbs from the 70s. I pulled those out and replaced them with LEDs. And that was me testing it. Then after it was cleaned up, I primed it and then basically put it back together again. And this is it finished. Not a great photo, but that was it finished. This is the priming of the controls, and I actually added new holes to it. So I drilled out new holes. I patched old ones. I actually welded some steel to the back for the holes I didn't want to use. I had just taken a welding class, and I kind of wanted to use my welding skill. You could have just done it with Bondo, but I put a backing on it for the fun. Here's a picture of the cabinet. This is probably before I started scraping it off. Here is the cabinet, pretty much gutted with a primer coat on it. This is the cabinet outside getting its first black coat. This is in my office, and this is when I started working on the internals. This is a monitor that I picked up. Might have even been a used one. This is me putting the new siding on it. The new sticker in place for the controls. This is a picture of it almost done. I think I'm wiring up the joystick and the new buttons. I mounted the monitor on the inside. And this is me turning it on for the first time with running Pac-Man. It still doesn't have the plexiglass on it. You can also tell that I painted the speaker screen at the top. I painted that to match the side the side strips. And that looks like the last picture. So yeah, so it's definitely a pretty cool machine, something fun to do. You might not get lucky and find a cabinet, but you can always build one also. But certainly finding an old cabinet is an easier way to start.